We're here, me and Hank.
Uh-huh.
Hello, Hank.
Hello.
We're here to talk about Venom.
Yeah.
It's out. It finally happened. There's a Venom movie. And, okay. Before we get ahead of ourselves, I feel like we need to talk about where we stand on Venom, how important the character and all that bullshit is to us as human beings. Mm-hmm. And, then we'll get into the actual movie part, maybe.
Sure.
So I guess I'll go first, just because I think my opinions on Spider-Man have been well documented by this point because of all the Spider-Man crap that's been out there recently. Mm. And you too, for the most part, anytime you talk about movies and whatnot. Like, the video game is the only thing you haven't really discussed because you haven't gotten to it yet. But Spider-Man was really important to me growing up. It's weird because at first it was actually Batman and Superman as a very, very young kid. And then it became Spider-Man like maybe around like 7 or 8, and then just stayed that way forever since then. And then like it just got better in the 90s after the 80s cartoon, or the 70s, I guess, cartoon or whatever was all like weird and kind of an acid trip of shit going on. Mm-hmm. The 90s cartoon really started to bring together stuff that was actually going on in the comics and kind of make a cohesive overarching narrative that was going on, with each episode being kind of like a separate little thing, kind of like a comic book. Like it was very much a good analog and a full animation of how comic books were. And yeah, that's pretty much when I started really loving Venom. That's kind of where I super got into Venom, around the Maximum Carnage era of stuff. 'Cause he was there before, like shortly before. Mm-hmm. And I was never super into him, though, because I didn't keep up with every weekly comic at that point when he was introduced.
Yeah.
So I knew of him, but he didn't really have a huge part in things for me until the TV show really portrayed him. And there was kind of just this boom that a lot of people growing up now wouldn't know. In the 90s, Venom was extremely popular out of nowhere. Like, he became huge.
Yes.
He became a huge thing. And that's around when I started getting into him as well, is around that boom. And that was around the Maximum Carnage era and the Super Nintendo game coming out and his own, like, series and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I've always liked him as the foil to Spider-Man. Like, the fact that Spider-Man's spider sense couldn't sense him properly, and he was just a bigger, stronger, clunkier version of him that, like, if he caught up to him, which he always did, he would just, like, fuck his shit up, basically. Mm-hmm. And he was just kind of like the scary, like, Resident Evil 3 nemesis thing in Spider-Man's world. The creeping, like, darkness that would follow him or whatnot, the villain. And that's always how I knew him until he turn into something different, which we can talk about. But what about you? What's your thing with Venom?
So Venom was my favorite character as a kid. My first comic book I ever got, my parents bought for me, was Amazing Spider-Man 374, which features Venom on the cover and kind of is the setup. The issue after that is like the setup for Venom becoming the Lethal Protector and then getting his own book, where he's a hero in San Francisco, which is really what this movie is adapting. Mm-hmm. And I started, like, I kind of got into comics through trading cards, and I was just super into Venom's look more than anything.
Sure.
I had, like, tons of Venom action figures. Like, that was, if there were Venom action figures, that's what I wanted. Which, when I went to then play with my toys, like, I have a lot of Venoms. Not enough good guys.
Yeah, not enough, like, Spider-Mans to fight the Venom army.
Like, my one Spider-Man is like a cyborg arm from that one Sinister Six story.
Weird.
Got battle damage. He's got like a snake bandana.
Yeah. I love how you had all the weird Spider-Mans. Didn't even just have a normal one.
No.
But, like, I had the metal Spider-Man as well. Like, I had the weird ones, too. Where it's like Where can I just get a normal like Peter Parker Spider-Man that isn't fucked up somehow?
So when I got into kind of collecting comics as a kid, the thing I was super focused on was getting every issue of Venom. So I have his the entire run of Venom when he was that entire from the 90s until it ended. Although I lost the last issue on purpose because I hate it so much.
Oh, okay.
Like,
do we want to discuss why? Like,
it's just because they get rid of Venom. It's like they make him forget Spider-Man's identity and then like shelve the character entirely at the end of that. I hate it.
Sure.
Just for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Venom's super important to me. Kind of I liked him more than Spider-Man. As I've gotten older, I now like Spider-Man more. But it was definitely Venom was the thing, and I didn't even ever buy Spider-Man comics except if they had Venom. But I had part of that is because I had a friend who bought every Spider-Man comic, and I would just read his issues.
Yeah, that doesn't count. You had an access to them, so of course you didn't. Why would you?
Yeah.
That's just called capitalism.
Look, I was over here buying Captain America and Iron Man comics back when those characters weren't actually popular.
Yeah, somebody had to, because Lord knows I knew no one in my school that did.
Yeah. Fantastic Four. So yeah, Venom is like the most important thing to me, though. And the thing I will say is, I have read all those Lethal Protector comic books. I love them. They're very important to me. Sure. Kind of none of them are good.
Okay, that's fair. I think that we're going to have an easy discussion about Venom the movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Like, Eddie Brock Venom is a good character as just he hates Spider-Man. Like, the soul defining thing is just he hates Spider-Man and wants to destroy him. That's where that character is good, and when you get away from that, it becomes a mess. Like, nobody ever figured out what to do with Eddie Brock Venom when that wasn't part of him. I will also say that my favorite Venom isn't Eddie Brock anymore. It's when Flash Thompson became Venom. Those comics are some of my favorite comic books, period, and incredibly well written. And kind of goes back to the License to Kill idea that they played with in the Venom stuff, where he's like working for the government.
Oh, right. Yeah.
As an agent, and then like, so it has a whole, and then it like gets into alcoholism stuff too. It has like a whole different character, and then those comics are just great. And then there was the period of time when Matt Gargan, the Scorpion, became Venom.
Great. And that sounds ridiculous.
It was. He had one miniseries all about him, which I actually enjoyed because it's just all about how much he hates J. Jonah Jameson and likes eating people.
Okay.
He got super into the cannibalism part of Venom when he was Venom.
Kind of like this movie, actually.
Yeah.
So there you go. Very cannibalistic.
But
Venom plays the
worst
big part.
Yeah, the worst Venom stories are generally the only ones I really don't like are usually built around when Venom isn't Venom. So that finale where they make him forget who Spider-Man is and then depower him and separate Brock and symbiote, don't like it. When Brock gets cancer and decides to auction off the suit because he's guilty, and then it like just immediately abandons its new host mid-air and lets them die before eventually finding its way to Matt Gargan. Those comics also suck.
Sure.
Where they had Eddie Brock commit suicide before eventually bringing him back. Just saying that didn't happen. Those comics are bad.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Comics version of Eddie Brock is interesting in that it tries to tie him more directly to Peter, where Peter and his dad worked together and invented the symbiote as scientists.
I don't think that's necessary. That seems, that's unnecessary.
I just didn't love the execution. I think that's interesting. The way better,
like a side story, sure.
execution of linking Eddie Brock's like more directly to Peter Parker was done though in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, where just like their parents died at the same time, and Eddie Brock was kind of like the older kid who kind of looked out for Peter, and then plot stuff happens throughout the course of that show to make Brock like super bitter towards him and hate him.
Sure.
That has a good arc to it, and I actually think that's kind of the best version of Eddie Brock if you're just looking for like actually a good story. Because a big problem with the comics version, super inconsistent. They never figured out who the fuck Eddie Brock was, really.
Yeah.
Having read
weird.
all those comics. Oh yeah, the other Venom comic I don't like is when his ex-wife commits suicide, just because she's sick of him.
Yeah. I think that's a good time to get into the movie. We should talk about.
Also, fun fact about Venom: if you're comparing like his origin to being a good guy in this movie to something, he becomes a good guy in the comics just because his ex-wife yells at him while he's fighting Spider-Man, and he's like, "Okay, I guess I won't do that anymore." That's how the comics happened. So
the comics are as poorly written as the movie, then, in a lot of cases, is what you're getting at.
We
need to talk about this thing.
The premise of this movie of saying, we're going to adapt 90s Venom, where he's the lethal protector, and we're not going to involve Spider-Man. I think that's a bizarre idea. So given that the weird idea that's kind of bad of making that, I think this movie is fine. And it was fun enough.
Okay.
I think it's actually pretty average for a Marvel movie in general, actually.
I agree with you on that. So here's the thing, is that this movie is terrible, but I didn't have a terrible time at it, is the thing. We need to, it's the writing. Holy shit, is it badly written. Like, oh my god. It's not even just the dialogue, because the dialogue is bad in parts, but it's also not taking itself too seriously, and it's kind of funny.
I was also pleasantly surprised because the fucking turd in the wind line, which is in the trailer, is the worst line in the movie. There isn't anything
and it's
worse
at the very
than that.
end.
Yeah, and it's just at the end.
So,
like, the dialogue I enjoyed the dialogue, which is like really the whole key to the movie for me. Like, I don't care that the plot is garbage. I like that the dialogue is fine and like fits in with Marvel movies.
Oh, there is a line in there where he's like, "On my planet, I'm kind of a loser." It's like, oh, that's so bad.
It's fine.
It's bad. It's real bad. Every other part is fine, kind of, but like that line, I cringed at. It's just like, oh, this is no. Okay. Anyway, let's start from the beginning.
Comics accurate, though. Comics accurate.
That's not a good thing. We could do better than comics. Well, in theory, we should do better than comics. I think it's just the fact that we have this like basic scene of Eddie Brock's magnificent life with his beautiful girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, and bringing him coffee, and he's like kind of this like reporter dude who gets in there like on the hot zone and whatnot, and he's got this pretty magnificent life. Then he does one thing that is in character for people, so people know he's going to ask the hard questions because this is what he does. And they say, no, don't do it. He does it, and he loses everything because that's how this movie had to go. Like, exactly. It's just like instantly, everything is gone.
How the plot had to happen. He had to lose everything.
It's so dumb. It's him
dumb.
losing the job is ridiculous. But I can kind of see it because it's like, yeah, you're a loose cannon. We can't do this anymore. You're fired. He goes home. It's like, oh, yeah, we're not together anymore. It's like, what?
Well, to be fair, she does that because he broke into her email and, like, stole sensitive information for her. Like, that one actually makes sense that she would leave him over that.
technically neither of them makes sense because they should have known who they were getting in bed with, but whatever. It had to happen that way, so it did, is basically the thing, where in the first 10 minutes, we get to see Eddie Brock's magnificent life go down to nothing because that's what it had to happen.
Yeah.
And it's, again, it's comic book schlock that I just wish was written better. It's the thing. That's really my problem with it.
Yeah, I just don't care that much that it's schlock. It gets the job done. I don't need it to be better in terms of moving the plot along. Like, whatever, stuff has to happen.
And then they during this, they introduced the big baddie, who's basically just like some weird Abed guy. He's in quotation marks, evil Elon Musk, except he's less evil than Elon Musk. He totally is. Well, he's actually more evil than Elon Musk because Elon Musk makes promises he can't keep. This guy does keep them, which is why he's more evil. So, yeah, he's just a scientist, dude. You know, one of his specimens that he sent a crew up to go get got away, so now he's pissed off, and they need to find it. And it's apparently this like organism they found likes to attach to hosts here on Earth to be able to survive and basically kill them unless it's a perfect match and blah, blah, blah. All dumb setup stuff.
It needs a host to survive in an oxygen environment.
Yeah. And I think every time they show the symbiotes looks dope. I think the effects look real good. And that includes when they are moving around as like humanoid versions of themselves and stuff with their hosts. I think they look real cool. That's just kind of the theme for this whole movie. That's just kind of the theme for the whole movie is that it's real cool looking, but fuck is it stupid for me.
It's very dumb.
In a way, it's fine. I guess my problem is that I've seen a lot of people praise the movie. And these are the same people that say certain other Marvel movies are fucking terrible. And it's just like,
I've only heard people shitting on it, so I was like,
really?
This is not that bad.
I've heard nothing but people praise it.
I will say, at the end, the audience applauded where I was, which I find hilarious. That was fun.
That's pretty funny.
People were into it.
Yeah, that's pretty
the other thing, besides just how the visuals look, I like Tom Hardy's like physical acting.
Yeah, me too.
During the scenes,
Tom Hardy's very good.
Like, yeah, that stuff's just fun. And that's like the key word of the movie to me. It was fun. I was afraid it wasn't going to be fun. I was afraid it was going to take itself too seriously, and it did not.
Mm-hmm. It did not take itself at all seriously.
No,
which was a little surprising because it felt like maybe this was 2 or 3 different movies put together in a weird way. Like the beginning almost feels like it's trying to be a horror movie with it crashing and the what's it named Riot, I guess, taking over a host and like slowly walking through the Philippine forest.
She was like, when he was possessing that woman, he was walking so slowly and like shit happens and it cuts back to her finally walking into like civilization. It's like, holy shit, how long was she walking? Why didn't he go faster?
It feels to me like they almost had a writer that's like, we should play this part like a horror movie, like super scary and serious and ominous, and it's intercut with like Eddie Brock just being a dumbass. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how that beginning kind of cuts together.
Yeah.
Especially because it feels like in another script or movie, that stuff, that is not Riot. That's actually Venom. But somebody in a room was like, we need to get to Venom faster than this could allow. So we need to make that maybe the enemy or something. And it has the Marvel problem again of the hero fighting itself in the last third.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
again,
whatever.
That's so many Marvel movies. That's standard.
It's all of them.
Yeah.
It's literally all of them. The way this did it was kind of cool with the symbiotes, like, kind of interacting and becoming one in certain parts. And, like, this, I don't know. There's this weird like liquid ballet that happens in that last fight that's just kind of like beautiful and horrifying at the same time.
Yeah, they did Venom shit.
Yeah,
it was fun.
They did Venom shit. Yeah. So like
someone produced some feedback in a speaker, and they were both fucking garbage.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you're gonna conquer Earth. It's just we hope nobody has speakers.
Yeah, or fire.
Or fire.
And then there's the nitty gritty stuff that I don't care about, but I'm sure you can make the argument where the symbiotes just know English and they know like certain terms for certain things.
Well,
yeah,
once they possess a human, they know
have their
they know all their knowledge, so that was fine.
Sure. It's whatever. It's stupid comic book shit. I don't care about it at all. Like, yeah, of course they know it. Why not? I do also like that it is a voice in his head. That, like, it's basically just using his brain to, like, communicate with him.
Mm-hmm. And I think, the key of the interplay between the suit and him is, like, super important to the fun of it for me. Like, the way that he's like, Tom Hardy's, like, freaking out and being weird because he's literally hearing voices in his head.
And how easy it was for Anne to, like, get on board was great.
Yeah.
This is like, she's at first just like, I don't want to talk to you. You ruined my life.
Yeah.
To, oh God, I'm worried. What the hell is happening to you? To, this is kind of neat.
Yeah. She just like likes the power high.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I do like the line. Oh God, I just ate a person.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, yeah, no, it's fucking sucks. It's not fun.
Like, it's bad.
No, it shouldn't happen.
Also,
shouldn't eat people's heads.
That the scene of like her meeting up with him as female Venom and then like them making out and the symbiote transferring is way hotter than it has any right to be. And I hate it. I fucking hate it so much because this is how internet fetishes start.
I mean, did you ever read the comics where she became Venom?
No, I never did.
Yeah, so I mean that's just straight out of the comics is female
That's
Venom.
just a thing, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
sure. Her becoming Venom. That was
that's
sure. Kind of from the like the best period of that Venom run, where the writer who takes over is Larry Hama, who's like responsible for G.I. Joe and like wrote G.I. Joe comics for fucking years. Basically invented that.
So the thing with this movie is that I figured a lot of this was taken straight out of the comics. Venom comics largely are a huge blind spot for me because a lot of the Venom stuff I've taken in was the stuff he's done with Spider-Man specifically, and not his own stories.
Yeah.
It's its own stories, I should say, because we're talking about the actual
their own stories.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I figured a lot of that was probably in there, because a lot of it, loosely. The way it's written, has stupid comic book all over it. And I mean, it's fine, but I kind of just wanted more. I wanted more of like, I don't know, the pacing to connect better or something. There was something off about it to me, which was too bad because every time, maybe I just wanted Venom like right from the start and didn't care about any of the beginning shit. Maybe that would have been better because every time Venom's there, it's dope. And every time it's not, I didn't want to be there.
I mean, the thing I would compare it to, and I would even say this about like this whole run of comics, is like 70s Godzilla, where he's like a good guy. Where those movies are weird and stupid, but like Godzilla shows up and it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, and it's campy and it's cheesy and it's really stupid, but like, I still like it. It still actually delivers at the part I want, which is this monster doing cool, like, visual stuff and being there.
Yeah. It is the first time they got Venom right, like, physically on the big screen. So there's that, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I also like Venom in that Spider-Man 3. Okay, it's, like, still on par with
but he's
how I feel like those Spider-Man movies. So yeah, he's not in it very much, but
that's the problem with that movie. That's literally the only problem with that movie. Is the one thing they needed to do more of, they didn't. Everything else, I'm whatever. with
I like
specifically.
the Spider-Man fighting Sandman stuff too.
They didn't do enough of that either, frankly. Anyway,
there's just a lot in that movie. It has the same.
There's too much in that movie.
It has the same problems as the previous two. It's just the third one, so they're kind of over it by that point.
Yeah, we should talk about Tom Hardy some more because that dude nailed it. Like
he's
for
good.
sure. Every time he's on screen, even like when Venom stuff not happening, I was just like, well, at least Tom Hardy is like dope.
And
like,
he's into it.
Great.
Like like the thing I like the most about Tom Hardy playing this character is he wanted to play this character. Like he was just
totally
into Venom, and he's a much better Eddie Brock than fucking Topher Grace was. That's not a question.
I don't feel like that even needs to be said. I can't believe you even said the name Topher Grace when talking about Venom.
Again, I don't hate that movie. But yeah, no, he's good. Again, his physical acting is like my favorite part of his performance for sure.
Also, just the fact that like Tom Hardy in general is a good actor. Like the parts where he's supposed to be a downtrodden piece of shit that lost everything, he's a perfect downtrodden piece of shit who lost everything, but he still has like a charismatic thing about him that makes him a good actor.
Yeah,
so he's still
and
fun
he's able
to
to go from I don't give a shit about anything, fuck you, go get away from me, like dirtbag, to like fuck, I gotta do the right thing.
Yeah, totally.
Like
he's really, really good. And then like,
scope.
It's just even better when he's Venom because he's a big guy to begin with. So I don't know. I really, really like the part where like he first becomes full suit Venom and he's just like towering while holding that guy and just like, oh, that's so good. It's so good because it teases you for so long. That's one of the thing. I got fucking blue balls watching this thing because every time like a cool action scene was happening, like his arm would change color or like some of the Venom would like jut out of his back or like his front or something or do like a thing, but it never fully showed him until that one part. And then it's just so cool when it does. It's so good. And then, like, it doesn't really even stop that. Like, I'm trying to remember just cool parts. When the SWAT team's all there, and they shoot a fucking tear gas canister at him, and he just, like, grabs it in his mouth and crunches down. And it's like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And I love shit like
just
that.
Like, and he, like, there's that part he's, like, falls from the building and crashes through that window into that apartment, and they start shooting into it, and the symbiote just, like, fills the entire window to absorb all the shots. Like, they gave moments the symbiote of being strong. They didn't ever like hold back of what it could do. They just then presented one that was bigger as the enemy.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so ridiculous. Just a bigger Venom.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the Iron Man thing. Who does Iron Man fight? Bigger Iron Man.
I hate it so fucking
It's so dumb, but it's what these movies are.
I'm trying to think now. Is there a case where that's not not a thing?
Ant-Man and the Wasp that came out this year, the villain has a different power, which stood out, I'll say.
And I mean, Spider-Man never fights big Spider-Man, right? In the movies. Dr. Octopus maybe is close. I don't know.
I mean, technically, Spider-Man fighting Venom is sort of that, but it's pretty different.
But he hasn't.
If you actually use Venom's powers, it's also different. Deadpool 2 also doesn't do the thing that Deadpool 1 did, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, Logan doesn't. Oh, no, Logan totally does. What am I talking about? Logan 100%
Logan
does.
totally
Logan
does.
fights evil clone Wolverine.
And I mean, even like X-Men, he fights Sabretooth, which is literally just Wolverine, basically. Yeah. Maybe that's just a comic thing in general. The opening scene, you must fight your the doppelganger, basically.
Well, it's definitely a thing in the movies. Specifically, it feels like because of Iron Man.
Yeah. I don't blame the Hulk either, though, because the Hulk's main enemy for it's all his run is the Abomination. So whatever. I don't blame him for fighting a bigger one of him, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, Hulk's enemy is the army.
Yeah, the human race, essentially.
Fucking Thunderbolt Ross.
Mm-hmm.
His father-in-law. The worst enemy. Family.
So yeah, Venom. It's a movie that, for better or worse, is like the comic books, I guess. I don't know. I still can't get over the writing. I just can't. But it's fine because there is enough cool shit that like I didn't hate watching it at all.
Yeah, no, it's not a fucking great movie, but it's, you know, it's a Marvel comic book movie.
I'll say I was never bored.
Yeah.
That I think, because even when the writing was stupid, I laughed at it. Yeah. And it seemed to be fine with it because it laughed at itself a few times. Yeah. Like, it's so obviously not serious with anything it does.
I will say the thing with Venom, like, eating people's brains.
Yeah.
So, really, that just comes from him. Venom in the comics would just say, "I'll eat your brains" all the time for no reason. Like, it became his catchphrase, even though it wasn't a thing he really did. Until they wrote a story about the symbiote needing brains to live. But then at the end of that story, it turns out that the thing it needed in human brains was also in chocolate. So he could just eat chocolate instead. Which they do have a note in this movie at the end. The symbiote's like, "Oh, I want chocolate."
Oh, yeah. So what's for dinner? Chicken nuggets and chocolate.
Tater tots.
Tater tots? Yeah, tater tots. Yeah. I don't know.
But then Max
I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm looking forward to this being on Blu-ray so I can watch the real cool parts on like YouTube in a compilation because I think they're visually amazing.
I think the
worst
worst written scene in the movie is the credit scene with Cletus Cassidy. It's fucking Woody Harrelson. God. That scene is actually just terrible. And bizarre.
It's so bad, but I was laughing so hard.
I know
that it didn't matter.
It's kind of the thing. Woody Harrelson is fucking Cletus Cassidy
because he's like walking in or whatever, and then you just see him like writing on his cell in blood, and I was just like, "Oh shit, really?" And then I just started laughing, and then it's Woody Harrelson, and I laughed even harder.
I just started thinking,
and then he even says like there will be carnage or something.
Yeah, like, when I get released,
Woody Harrelson.
There will be carnage.
Shut up, Woody Harrelson. Nobody's scared of you. Yeah, and like it's funny too because one of the things I thought about Riot is when he really comes to fruition when they're doing the rocket launch or whatever in the command center there. And he like turns into him.
Yeah.
And he's just like murdering people with his giant blade arms and stuff. I'm just like, this is like what Carnage should be, for sure. This is Carnage right here, what we're seeing. And then like, sure enough, they show him at the end. I'm just like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Look, man, I guess they gotta have Carnage and Venom fight over the internet, like in the comics.
Yeah, great. I did find it weird that, like, Riot, like, I really felt like when he was, like, starting to freak out and, like, kill people in that room, that really felt like a Carnage thing. Almost like maybe they had originally thought to, like, write that for him. I don't know. Just the way his arms change and, like, the weaponry he used and stuff was very, very similar. So maybe it's a return of, like, that symbiote or something will happen with that. Because it was too coincidental. Or maybe it's just a big Venom. Who knows? We'll see. Time will tell, I guess.
Who knows?
When we see
there are plenty
Woody
of other
Harrelson.
Symbiotes. There have been plenty of symbiotes who weren't Carnage.
That's true.
There's a whole planet full of them, in fact.
Yeah, I can't remember how they say millions. Some million or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
It's just a whole big symbiote goop planet.
I even like that they address, like, why did you change your mind? It's like, I like it here. Like,
Yeah.
oh, all right. Well, if Venom likes it here, I guess that's what happens when you are able to find the perfect host.
Yeah.
And live in harmony.
Found his true love.
Yeah. And him. And Brock. Both of them. He likes N too, which is hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really good.
And fucking Riot formed with someone who wanted to get the fuck off of Earth. So that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, you can explain the stuff, kind of. Like, you probably shouldn't bother, but...
Yeah, you probably shouldn't bother.
Just fucking shut up and enjoy it, is what I say.
They opened up floodgates, at least, to, like, a bunch of stuff they could do, which is cool.
And the other thing I'll say, when I was thinking about, like, why would you do Venom this way, is, like, the current movie Spider-Man is, like, not ready to do the Venom story at all, anyway. So
No, he's definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still a child, like an actual child.
And considering what they wanted to adapt was those 90s Lethal Protector comics, because that's the shit that was popular, that people remember, like, you don't need Spider-Man for that. Again, part of the point of those comics is him in San Francisco away from Spider-Man.
In fact, a lot of those say, if they have Spider-Man anywhere in them, they actually say it's guest starring Spider-Man. It had nothing to do with Spider-Man, Lethal.
Yeah, I mean, they want stuff. Spider-Man to show up. They want to make you know Spider-Man's in it so that people will buy more comics.
Sure. That's just capitalism.
Exactly.
All that is.
But I doubt they'll do the thing where Eddie Brock starts living with, like, an underground city of people and becomes their protector. I don't think they'll adapt that part. That was dumb.
I mean, you never know, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'd like to see Kraven at some point. Kind of in anything, because I've been on a Kraven kick lately.
Yo, Kraven
and I know him and Venom have chatted before, we'll say, so.
Well, like, during a period of, like, bad Spider-Man comics, one of my favorite things that happened was Venom just forces his way into the Sinister Six to fight Spider-Man just because he wants to fight Spider-Man. And then they kick him out and he gets butthurt and spends, like, the next series of issues hunting them all down and taking them out one by one.
That's pretty good. They should just make a video game of that, frankly. Of all the Sinister Six that you fought or, like, dealt with in the Spider-Man game, now you're playing as Venom, murdering them.
Just butthurt.
Yeah, butthurt Venom. Okay, the one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and this is as good a time as any, is the Spider-Verse stuff that they showed.
Yes.
Both at the very, very end,
man.
For me, we had the trailer as well.
Okay, so that's the thing I'm actually excited for and, like, super stoked about. Oh my god.
It looks real cool.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
You got Nicolas Cage playing Spider-Man Noir. You got Spider-Ham in a movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
You do have Spider-Ham in a movie.
Fun fact, Nicolas Cage also played Superman in a movie this year.
Did he?
In Teen Titans Go to the Movies, he played Superman. Finally. Finally, he got to play Superman.
Gotcha.
And he's in a bunch of it.
But yeah, that movie's coming out at the end of the year?
Yeah.
In December?
Like Christmas.
Is that correct? Yeah. I want to see that. I didn't realize what, like, animation style or whatever you want to call it that was in. And I think it looks really, really dope. I want to see more Morales Spider-Man in popular media.
No, and I think this is, like, the perfect way to do it, of just...
Totally.
Yeah, he's just the Spider-Man, but we're still going to have Peter Parker, because alternate universe shit, we could just fucking go for it. And then we can do a bunch of other stuff, like have Spider-Ham in a movie, too.
And Spider-Gwen, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy? Like, that's so good.
She's super dope. She's pretty recent. She's from, like, there was a Spider-Verse comic book story It was basically the next big Spider-Man story after Spider Island.
So where does this fit in with the comics? Is this a whole separate thing, or does this follow some?
Again, it's pretty
does this
different.
Continue any of the things?
I mean, it's its own thing. Again, Spider-Verse was a comic book story, but it was way bigger than it had like way more Spider-Man than they're gonna be able to do in a movie. It was like Spider-Man from every universe, but it is a thing of Miles Morales, like alternate universe stuff with the Ultimate Universe has been a big thing. Like there was a Spider-Man story that was just regular universe Peter Parker Spider-Man going to the Ultimate Universe where Peter Parker is dead and Miles Morales was Spider-Man. That was just a story they did.
Right. And they kind of like tease that in this like teaser that you can watch at the end of Venom as well.
Yes.
Where he's like at the gravestone. I don't know.
I didn't know how far they were going to go with that stuff, but yeah, they went all the way with Spider-Man being actually dead.
Mm-hmm. But kind of not also because Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So it's an alternate universe Spider-Man that then teaches Miles, but he's that universe's Spider-Man.
I really, really like. It was the first time I saw like what that movie's going to be in its tone and like how much heart it has, and it seems like it has a shit ton of it.
Yeah.
Of just like, dude, this is like the Spider-Man I grew up with. The like silly kid that's like kind of garbage.
Oh man, and I love fucking burnout adult Peter Parker fucking describing their universes as French fries. That is 100% laugh my alley. Also, there's like a line in the trailer. It's like, I'm not very liquid right now. It's like broke as fuck. Garbage.
Or them hiding
Spider-Man.
from that like kid or whatever in the corner of the room, moving back and forth with his
I
chair.
also super like that like the weirder ones like Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Marn, they just have like, and the anime girl Spider-Man, they just have like different animation styles entirely to them.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man Marn is literally always monochrome, and then the girl is just like super anime, and then Spider-Ham is like a 2D character.
Yeah, like a what's it called? Like a Disney character, a Looney Tunes. Yes, exactly.
Do animals talk in your universe? Because I don't want to freak him out.
Yeah, that line is so good. Like, it says everything you need to know about the tone of that movie, I think. Oh, I'm so excited for that thing. Holy shit.
Yeah, because I've been getting more and more excited because they showed it off at first as just Miles Morales, but then the title was Into the Spider-Verse, so I started getting excited, and then they started showing more and more. Like, oh, here's another alternate universe adult Peter Parker. Here's Spider-Gwen. And then,
they need to do more Miles Morales stuff, though, for sure. So I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad this is a thing.
He's good. He's a good character.
And that he seems to be the like one they're focusing on in the Spider-Verse story here as like the main character. So that's cool. But yeah, I am super stoked for that thing. And that is one of the things I like most about Venom, is getting to watch that little bit of that thing. Because that's
You're not wrong. Really, like that one scene they showed was like the best part of the whole experience. But
yeah, it was for me for sure.
That is because I've been so looking forward to that movie.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll probably do something like this when that comes out.
Yeah.
We should do some closing thoughts about Venom. What do you think? What are your closing thoughts?
I thought, considering what this project was, adapting Lethal Protector Venom without Spider-Man, I thought it was good. Like, I was surprised at how good it was. It's pretty average for a Marvel movie. It has basically the same flaws as almost all those movies. Whereas I don't think none of those movies have ever connected with me emotionally or at all, except like Iron Man 1, to the extent that it was even doing that, which it really wasn't. So none of that stuff matters to me. It's just, it was fun, and I was funny, and I laughed, and I had a good time.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. What did you think of the Eminem song at the end or the music video where Eminem turns into Venom?
I haven't seen the music video. The song
Okay.
didn't really leave an impression. He's like, "Yep, that's Eminem."
Yeah, it's very obviously Eminem. Do you want to see Eminem turn into Venom?
Not particularly. It's not.
Yeah, okay.
I prefer Eminem
probably
like at this stage of his life, like rapping about his current life, and like the fucking on Marshall Mathers LP, like there's like one song that's like about what he's doing now and like his boring life and his old man opinions. That's like the favorite thing he's done in recent years.
That's probably fair. I didn't think the song was very good, especially because as somebody who has been a fan of Eminem for a long time,
Yeah.
I know he can and has done better, and I think his time might be over.
Yeah, no, I
Not
think
to bring
I
this
think
conversation
he's washed.
down.
I think he's washed.
Yeah.
For sure.
If this was like 15 years ago and like 16, 17-year-old me just got back from seeing Venom with Eminem doing the song, I would have just been like freaking the fuck out. But as I'm a little bit older,
Yeah.
Eminem has no effect on me doing the Venom song, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
would have
sure, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved this movie when I was younger just because it had Venom in it, and literally anything with Venom in it, I was that's not true. I didn't love Spider-Man Unlimited where they fucked up Venom. It was just a weird symbiote that was always just merging with Carnage.
Do you know what the feel on Venom is out there in the schoolyards and stuff these days? Because like I said, when we were younger, he was like pop culture icon huge. And I don't think he's that anymore. So I'm wondering where Venom is at.
I mean, in comics, fucking Flash Thompson is Venom. Like that character, Venom. Eddie Brock. The last time I saw him, which I'm not up to date, he'd become Toxin, which was like a combination of all the of like a bunch of the other symbiotes that had spawned off Venom over the years. But he was back to being like a villain.
Okay.
And he was specifically a villain for Flash Thompson Venom. In that case.
Weird. Okay. Sure. Yeah, all right. Why not? I'm going to go ahead and say he's not as big, Venom, as he was when we were younger. So,
no.
But this movie, I believe, did quite well this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember, I thought it was at like 33 million or something when I checked it the first day. And as of right now, it's at about 80 million. So yeah, that makes sense.
Good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty
think
good.
on Rotten Tomatoes it had... Yeah, so it has a 31% with critics, a 21% with top critics, and an 89% with audiences.
That tracks though.
Yeah.
This is not a movie that somebody who's going to see a movie will like. This is a person that is going to see Venom. Like, this is why you're going.
People, I was at the movie theater. Oh, it seemed to have a good time. They applauded at the end.
It's actually doing good foreign too. It's 80,000 domestic, 125 foreign for 200 million. Roughly. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's doing very, very well. So, I'm sure Venom 2 Electric Boogaloo will be out in the years to come, where we will get to see that terrible Carnage. Oh my god. If they change it from Woody Harrelson to anybody else at any point, I'm going to be disappointed because holy shit. Holy shit, do I want Woody Harrelson to be Carnage.
Yeah. Okay, I think Eddie Brock is Venom again in most recent comics. It looks like he has become Venom again.
Oh, weird.
Which makes sense, like in the build up to this movie happening. I think Venom
We Are Venom.
Corpse, like Venom Core, was a book
Okay.
with like multiple
Where
Venoms.
there's just a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a place they could go. for movies. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you think this will spawn any, like, actual animated movies? Because they could do some cool stuff if they did, like, animated movies. Some cool storylines. I wonder.
I don't know. I feel like
is this the resurgence of Venom?
I feel like Enter the Spider-Verse is gonna like determine if they put more money into animated Marvel stuff going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Because they did a bunch of they were doing like plenty of direct to DVD stuff, but like that stuff wasn't great, and I don't think it was that popular or anything.
Yeah. Okay, so closing thoughts, you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 50-50 on it still. Like, I just can't get over some of it. But I don't think it's a bad time at the theater. I've done much, much worse, I will say, at the theater. And, like, I was laughing and smiling the whole time, as stupid as it was. So that has to account for something. And every time it wasn't stupid, it was dope. So, yeah, it's pretty much a standard Marvel movie. I think you hit it on the head.
Look, I really like when Tom Hardy bites that piece of meat and then goes, "That was dead." That's dead.
There's a lot of parts like that where it's something ridiculous that's just funny. It's a funny thing.
It is funny.
And Tom Hardy, like, really losing himself in the character and, like, loving every minute of it really shows, too.
Yeah.
I think that's... If Tom Hardy was, like, a prissy, like, fuckwit about it, I think it would have been way worse. But he was so into it. Mm-hmm. He definitely made it enjoyable. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, and cool. It's not in my top 10 of movies I've seen this year, but it'll be in my top 20. For sure.
Sure. I could see it there. I mean, I've not seen many movies, so it might be in my top 10.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like, again, it's above plenty of stuff. And it's above,
sure.
It's going to be above, like, a bunch of other Marvel stuff, even. It's, like, in the pack. Sure. It's in the pack with other Marvel stuff I've seen this year, really. Kind of in the middle.
And I think, I think it probably fits there, too. For sure. Cool. Okay. I think that'll do it for this talk, so thank you for listening, and if for some reason you didn't see Venom, you didn't miss anything, because the experience is in naturally watching it and not in the story, so why don't you go ahead and watch it at some point if you can. Yeah,
it's got good.
That'll be it, though. It does, yeah. And, yeah, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later.